May 7th, 2024. This is the S&P 500 E-Futures Mini on the 2000 tick chart using NinjaTrader 8. There was no economic data that came out today, and overall the trading was very slow today. This is what it chart looked like today. It had a couple of legs up, kind of these stair-step consolidation areas, then a sell-off. And I really only found maybe two setups, but the rest of the time, nothing really happened. Total trading range, at least in the regular trading hours, was about 52.05 to about 52.26. So it's about 20 points of range. Now, normally you'd think 20 points is enough to find decent trades, but what was happening was a lot of the price action was very congested. Candles were printing side by side, and even when they broke out into these legs that you can see, they didn't really set up or create very good second entries. So unfortunately, I didn't take any of these two entries that I found. There could have been more. There were some questionable ones, but I didn't really think they were high probability, so I didn't bother marking them. So similar to yesterday, which I really didn't trade, I have no trades, and yesterday looked like it was kind of slow and chopping, so missing out yesterday wasn't that big a deal. And then today, I probably could have just missed today as well. So this is what the pre-market looked like. So pre-market's continuation from yesterday, just kind of chopped sideways. I did see this big leg up, two legs down, potentially a second entry long here, but this is really early in the morning over here at Pacific Standard Time. You have a new high, first entry long, second entry long, decent signal bar for second entry long. The test of this break of this green channel does want to test this new high. So maybe there's a trade here, but I'd be weary of taking this trade just because if you look at the timestamp of 322, it took a good 16 minutes for this candle to close and then print this one, and then another 22 minutes for this one to close. I definitely wouldn't want to be sitting in a trade for that long on this type of setup. So at this point, I'm not really sure what to make of it. I thought maybe we're going to be in a trading range, but it had kind of a bullish bias already. So it's one leg out, two measured legs down. And I thought I saw one leg, two legs down, and potentially a second leg, and it looked like we respected it here. But then when the market opened, I found this yellow up channel. Prices start moving. It looks like it hits some kind of resistance up here. You have a new high here, first entry long. You technically have a second entry long here. It's not a good signal bar below the EMA. I don't really like it. There is this orange down channel as a break to the hot break, an overshoot in the high. Now it's coming back down and doesn't actually push down further. But I do see a potential support here. This can't really be considered 5 tests. I count it more as like 1 test, 2 test, but I'm thinking I might be in a trading range at this point. So I drew this as support and this as a resistance. So this is what I did notice. I marked it, so here in real time, I saw new high, first entry long right here, second entry long, and then it could actually be seen as one clean leg down, first entry long, pullback, potentially a second entry long. So second entry long in the bigger visual would have been made here. So then I saw this as a higher low. So it's like a first entry long visual, second entry long pullback, a higher low. The thing I didn't like about this is there's no room to the top. So you're technically buying at the high of this trading range, which I think is actually what price action is in play for right now. It looked like it would have flashed up enough for maybe a quick scalp, but not a confident scalp. And prices kind of moved back down. I did see a potential support here. I need to see a third test to really trust it because I was thinking maybe there's a bigger trading range, but it's not confirmed yet. You have a new low, first entry long, first entry short, second entry short. There's a bag signal bar above the EMA, so there's no real setup here. I did see potentially one leg down, pull up, two legs up, and potentially a second leg down. But it bounces, so now I do think I have a triple test. 1, 2, 3. This is breaking through now. I'm thinking, is it potentially a fail breakout? So I have a new high here, say first entry long, pull back. Here, it actually makes a pretty decent signal bar. It did create a measured move. It fell a little short, but it's only by about 1 tick, but it looked reasonable. First entry long, second entry long. It's a good signal bar. First break of this range, so it's a failed breakout. It could be moving back in. But what I want is a decent signal bar, but I wanted to see a little more confirmation. I want this signal bar to the next bar to, confirm the second entry long and move back into range. It kind of does that. And I was thinking, is there a trade here? I wasn't too sure. Then here, definitely there was a trade, but it's already too late. So I hesitated and I unfortunately missed this. And this is only one of two setups I actually found all day. So of course I don't know it at the time. So I'm thinking, oh, well, don't worry too much about it. There'll probably be a lot more setups. I'm going to be surprised. I'm going to be disappointed because there weren't that many more setups afterwards. Prices moved up. First entry short, second entry short. It's a bad signal bar to go short on. It is a break of this orange up channel. So you're thinking it could test the highs, which it kind of did here. So you could say it's a first entry short, pullback, second entry short, and engulfs. You could make an argument to say, okay, it tested the highs, prices are going to come back down. What I was debating though was this is a break, fail breakout, pushed up, it could pull back, and I'm thinking it wants to test these highs, maybe hit this high here, or at least this one. So I wasn't too eager to go short. And it oscillates, and then it falls into this trading range, which is just very tight trading, a little ugly because this is like, let me rescale it. So this is only 1 point. So the total range that I'm seeing is only about 2 points. To try to get a 1 point scalp in a 2 point range is really risky or really difficult because you'll need pretty much the whole range to feel confident. So you need your entry right at the lows or right at the highs. It doesn't really give that to you, then it breaks out. So now it touches the high of the not the pre-market, but what I thought is the bigger trading range, which is out further, breaks out of this yellow up channel. It's trying to make a test the highs. So I thought this is maybe one attempt, maybe the second attempt, a third attempt. So I'm thinking there's potential triple test, but in real time, when you see this, I'm not ready to go short yet. When this one forms, now it's too late to go short. Comes back up and tests again. Again, you see this move up, and you see this one. I don't really see a clean setup to feel confident taking a short, but it does. If you did take a short off a hunch, it would have worked, but I try to avoid those kind of trades where I'm not too sure. You could say this is at least grouped as a localized new high. Technically, new high is here, but you could say that at least the new high here, first entry long pullback, second entry long. It's a decent signal bar. Unfortunately, it's an inside bar and it's so tiny compared to the previous bar that I would be reluctant to just trust that it's going to go long. Plus, I don't have this support. I don't have confidence in this support here. I do have confidence in this resistance, but at the time, you don't really know if the trading range could actually be here. You might be dealing with a failed breakout. You're actually lower here. So taking all those into consideration, I decided I need to see a higher low, ideally above the EMA, to kind of feel confident that prices are going to move back up to touch the highs. You get a higher low here, but you could say, okay, first entry long, pull back, second entry long, higher low. I'm just going to mark it. Potential trade here. But if you look at where you're going to enter, it's 52, 22, 25. So for a 1 point scalp, if you went one tick above, you need to get out at 52, 23.50. 52, 23.50 is right at the highs. So you're going to ask for prices to push all the way back up to the high. It could happen, but I just wasn't confident. I wanted ideally this setup to be a little lower and just a better, cleaner setup in general to make me feel confident. If you enter, it looked like you'd still be in the trade. And depending where you kept your stop loss, this candle I know would have taken me out. And then it eventually goes where you want it to go. So that would have been a frustrating trade to take. So I'm glad I didn't just jump on this higher low. Hops around. I have a lot of, I guess I trust this as a resistance a lot now, but I just need a clean setup to take it though. So you do have a new high, first entry long pullback. You do have a failed second entry long. By the time this candle closes, you're already too close to the bottom. And it reverses. And it kind of chops back down. So you could say visually you have a first entry long pullback, maybe a second entry long failure, and it breaks down and through. But this price action here is already very slow. It's slowing down. It's been slow for the whole day. So seeing this, it didn't quite touch the EMA. EMA is a little flat. I wouldn't have thought to go short. And then when you see this, I don't kick myself for thinking, man, I definitely should have gone short because in real time, I don't know what's going on right here. Prices then break through. say first entry short, pull back. You technically have a second entry short, almost touches the EMA, and then it reverses. If you did try to take a 1 point scalp, you wouldn't you would have one tick short of your 1 point scalp and likely gotten stopped out here. But to take a short here, I think you could make a case for it because it technically touched the highs of this trading range, but you had a fail breakout here and it didn't quite touch it. So I'd be a little reluctant. I'd be questioning whether it wants to push up a second time before I took a short. Prices then continue moving up, breaks this yellow channel, and then kind of swings all the way back down. It pushes down pretty strongly. There's an overshoot here. This price action didn't come back to the EMA. It already sinks back down further. You have a second entry short here, but it's not a good signal bar. It's kind of wait and see at this point. It hits a new low. You have first entry short. Technically, I could see a new low, first entry short, pullback, a potential second entry short. You have a triple test. It tried to break up once, second time, third time. Now, I would have considered marking this trade if, when I saw this, I needed this candle here to break one tick below to confirm the second entry short. When it didn't happen, I have to wait. So now it does happen. It confirms the second entry short, and it would have kept moving down. So this here is a potential, let me at least mark it, triple test and second entry short. But for me, when it didn't happen here, then I would have just been waiting. And then it happened here. You could probably put one tick below this guy and got picked up here, and it would have worked. So fortunately, I didn't take that trade. Prices then continue moving down. It's a new low. It's a first entry short, pull back, second entry short. This isn't a really good signal bar to go shorts above the EMA. Nothing I particularly like. Then here, it does create a second entry short. I thought this is a possible trade. So you technically have a new low here because it's a little bit lower than this previous uptrend. This uptrend, I should say, is that one. You broke out, you made one attempt up, pull back. Now you've made a second attempt up. So I'm thinking the uptrend has played out. Broke out of this up channel here. It's a new low here. It's a first entry short. Technically, your second entry short is confirmed on this green candle. So when you see this, or at least when I saw this is a really decent signal bar. The trigger bar is not so good because it's reversing back up. I didn't like that, so I didn't like this trigger bar, so I had to wait for the next candle. This next candle was actually pretty decent because it actually ticked one tick above, made a double top, flushed down, engulfed the previous signal bar. So this is actually a trade I thought was possible, at least for a quick 1 point scalp, move back down to the low of the range at least. So you'd have to sit through this. So had I entered, let's say I entered one tick or at the lows of this guy, or even at the previous signal bar low, I would have been entered here. And when I saw this, I think I would have been nervous, thinking my read might have been correct. And I probably would have tried to exit break even. And I think I probably would have exited break even on this candle because I would have lost confidence in the setup that I was reading. But had I waited one more, it would have flushed down. I didn't take this trade though, but I saw it and I was thinking that's probably what I would have done. Price is then kind of chops sideways, falls into this other trading range. Nothing too clean here. Pushes up. And this is entering the last 10 minutes. And as usual, you get some price action, but it's nothing you can really trust. And the whole day, I didn't really take any trades. It was a snoozer kind of day. So I didn't, feel the sudden urgency to like, well, I better get a trade in somehow, especially in the last 10 minutes, because it's better just to walk away break even or walk away zero as opposed to walking away negative. And then prices just kind of move into the close. So kind of uneventful day, no news item to really motivate or move the market. Unfortunate. And it's kind of day like this that I wish that I had better experience to know maybe right around here that the day was going like when I only saw this much price action, I would have known nothing's happening. I could just take the rest of the day off because you just sit here and you just get very bored, end up reading a bunch of articles, and it's also ripe for you to get FOMO and jump into a trade that's ill-planned. So I'm glad I didn't fall for that today. And unfortunately, there was no, well, other than maybe these three potential setups, there wasn't really much happening today. So hopefully that was helpful.